So under Proposition 1, the Commission for Behavioral Health is continuing to champion the well-being of all Californians through behavioral health prevention and intervention strategies designed to address the needs of individuals living with mental health and/or substance use disorders. Our commitment is really to work with community partners, individuals with lived experience, family members, counties, state agencies, and the legislature to really help increase public understanding, to make sure we're moving forward on best practices, and to inspire innovation. In particular, I'm especially excited about what this opportunity means and what this moment means for us. As you all know, um, in March of um, in March of last year, California voters they took a historic step by passing Proposition 1. That change really made clear our responsibility as a commission that it's not only about stewarding resources wisely, but really to use them in bold ways that help drive the kind of transformation that Californians deserve. And one of the most exciting elements of the changes is the creation of the Innovation Partnership Fund. This is a $100 million investment that gives the commission a rare opportunity to really do things differently, to disrupt the status quo, and to build on what we know works in order to move forward the type of solutions that Californians need. We see this funding not as the end, but really as a beginning, an opportunity to create a seed investment to catalyze a much larger pooled fund that includes resources from philanthropy, from the private sector, and other partners across society. We recognize that the challenges in front of us are not a problem that government can or should solve alone. And it is working in community with you all, with the private sector, with philanthropy, with other government partners to really transform and build the behavioral health system that works for all of us, taking this, whole of society approach. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what we've done thus far, because this really has been um, a multi-month process in gathering information and in making sure we're taking the best approach. Most recently, we gathered dozens of concepts from the public through a call for ideas that will be vetted and discussed through our program advisory committee. For those of you that follow the work of the commission, we have intentionally created working committees of commissioners, the program advisory committee, the budget committee, as well as the legislative and external affairs committee, to ensure that we're creating more opportunities for discussion amongst commissioners and with public input for the work ahead. So that first call for ideas invitation emphasized that suggestions for the Innovation Partnership Fund should be focused on system change in the delivery of behavioral health systems, specifically to the priority populations in Proposition 1 and the BHSA. As of April 20th, I believe, more than 40 organizations responded, as well as a number of health agencies, such as the Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of Healthcare Access and Information, as well as community and advocacy groups, agency associations, counties, and both profit and nonprofit organizations. It ranged as far as bucket areas, and this might be repetitive to some folks that were at the recent commission meeting, but it includes access to services, community-defined evidence-based practices, crisis prevention, intervention, crisis response, early intervention, peer services, technology, workforce development, retention, and more. There was no shortage of ideas. So we're reviewing and refining these ideas as part of the work of the committees. And we also expect to do additional public engagement opportunities, as we announced at the most recent commission meeting, really ensuring that we're not only using the committee structure with discussion amongst commissioners, but also providing opportunities to gather information directly from community members and the public. I know that you are all very familiar with one of the proposals submitted by Solano County to expand the interdisciplinary collaboration and cultural transformation model. So again, these are the types of conversations that we're really looking forward to. At the upcoming meetings of both the Program Advisory Committee, the listening sessions, we're continuing to identify which of these concepts show the potential for systems level change and where to begin investment. I will tell you that the vision really is that 5 years from now, we want to look back and say that this fund didn't just award grants, but it sparked real measurable change. And we want to see those investments, take root, improving outcomes for marginalized communities, and really moving the needle on more equitable, responsive behavioral health systems across the state. And that's only done that measure of progress is really only possible with collaboration and partnership with individuals and organizations like the ones on this call. So we're excited about that opportunity. Our first program advisory committee is actually meeting this summer, so I hope you all are looking out for the agenda. Again, we'll also have those public listening sessions and dialogue stakeholder sessions to commit to this community engagement. And then we're exploring what other ways we can move forward in order to solicit that sort of input and feedback on this fund. Again, reflecting on the last commission meeting, we held a really great discussion facilitated by an outside facilitator, Marco Mij, who used to be the undersecretary at HHS, to think through how are we operating differently as a commission to get these ideas moving forward and to ensure that, again, this isn't just these awards that we'll give out, but that we are leveraging this opportunity for that transformational change into the future. At a high level, our anticipated timeline is that between now and the end of the year, we expect to do this background work, continuing to do the research and listening and discussions with commissioners and the public in order to create a framework for the work ahead. Again, that framework to help us better understand what we're looking for and get on the same page about what that progress looks like. Um, and then we do expect to have some sort of like an outline presented to the full commission, likely in the late fall, early winter, and then want to release the RFP in the early part of 2026. That is intentional so that we can actually award the funds or announce the awards in spring of 2026, with July of 2026 being the go live date. It's ambitious. It's a lot of work ahead, but it's really something that is imperative at this time with everything that is happening around us. Again, we want to see this fund as the beginning. Innovation, as you all, I know, agree, it's not a one-time event. It really is a way of working. It's a mindset. It's a commitment to continuous learning. And I also want to recognize and appreciate that this is something new for the commission and that this process is not perfect, but that perfection isn't the goal. We're trying to make progress, real progress. And that's only possible to do that when we are doing it in partnership, when we do that process, when we walk together humbly, when we do it with transparency, and of course with real purpose. So we're grateful to be in this journey with folks like you all. I know he's not here today, but with Dr. Aguilar Gaxiola, who's been a tremendous partner of the commission, but also of me and my leadership. And I'm looking forward to opening it up for discussion and conversation. Again, this is a work in progress, so looking forward to that opportunity, and hope this is not the only opportunity to engage in that discussion. So with that, I will open it up, Catherine, to conversations and questions that may come up.
Yeah, thank you so much for that summary. That was really helpful. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to raise your hand either, or you're welcome to put them into the Q&A or any comments in the chat. So far people are looking shy. I wondered if Rachel, Heather, Carla, Yaneli, do any of you have any questions about the Innovation Partnership Fund or the stakeholder process that's currently underway?
I have a question. It's a pretty simple one. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here with us today. You mentioned a few sort of dates and milestones regarding when proposals are going to be accepted, those types of things, when announcements will be made. Is that written somewhere that we could send out to our members?
Great question, Heather. I know the July date is in the legislation, right? That's when the launch, or I'm sorry, the fund launches. But whether it's in the commission notes from the last meeting, I will have to double check. But I can easily do that with the team and circle back with you all so that you can distribute whatever resources to share the information. So let me do that and get back to you.
I appreciate that. There's just a lot of dates going on right now, so
I
I think that
totally
would be very
understand that.
helpful. Thank you.
As a follow-up to that, thank you. This is Rachel Guerrero. Thank you for your presentation. As a follow-up to Heather's wonderful presentation, very comprehensive and in a very short amount of time, very impressive. Can you just more slowly go through those dates again? 2006, the RFP will be released. Just quickly run those through because I know, as you know, we are in this very difficult place right now with wondering what the governor is going to do with future funding for this project this year. So I know that people are really interested in what these dates are. Would you mind just going over them a little slower?
Sure, absolutely. And I want to say, don't
Hold you
hold me
to it.
to
I
this,
understand.
Rachel.
It's flexible.
Like I just want to,
But this is
especially in
your
this
ballpark,
environment.
right? This is your
Yeah,
hope. Okay.
especially in this environment. So this fall, we expect to have like the framework for the RFP presented. Again, I wish I could replay the conversation from the last commission meeting, but that framework really is around like what do we mean when we say innovation? What are the parameters that we want to make sure are considered when we're thinking about these concepts? What are the potential for transformational change? What is that? How does that, how is that demonstrated in these concepts? So that framework, again, that we've gotten some great feedback from the public, but what that framework looks like will be presented this fall, which
Okay.
then will lead likely to a draft RFP proposal, like a draft outline of the RFP, because we don't actually review the RFP, but a draft outline of the RFP, likely in the very beginning of 2026 to the commission for approval, which would then lead to the RFP release in early 2026. So I say that being like sometime after the first meeting of the commission. Generally, it's January, it's February. So it would probably be released by March, I'm guessing, especially because we would then want the awards announced in the spring of 2026 in order for the funds to have the go ahead, the launch in July. So if you work backwards from July, when is the official go live date, that sort of helps understand the timeline between now and then. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Of
Just
course.
one more follow-up question. When you said you're going to release a draft RFP outline, will that be released to the community for feedback back to the commission?
Yeah,
Just,
exactly. Yep.
yeah, okay,
So
great.
all of
That's
this,
good to hear.
yeah, the purpose of having these pieces is exactly that. Can we get both input from commissioners and discussion, like, hey, I wasn't part of the program advisory committee. I have these questions, but also from the public. So it's not only going to be released for the public's consideration as part of the full commission meeting, it will also be part of the conversations in the program advisory committee. And so that's an additional opportunity for discussion, again, both amongst commissioners as well as with the public. And that's something different that we're instituting as a commission this year. Traditionally, it's only been our full commission meetings, which, as people who know this commission, it's a lot of work that has to get done in those commission meetings. So having these committee meetings is intentional to hopefully allow folks to delve a little bit deeper, that then allow the commission meeting to potentially engage the members of the public more meaningfully.
Yeah, I just wanted to add my appreciation when you listed the bucket list areas. Really appreciate that it included community-defined evidence-based practices. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. That we've heard a lot about CDEPs and the importance of CDEPs and also
Yeah.
the importance of what innovation is with regard to hard to reach populations or marginalized communities and the importance of
That's
being
wonderful.
able to uplift that. So yeah, loud and clear.
That's great. Thank
Of
you.
course.
We have a couple questions in the chat in the Q&A. We have one from David. How does one stay in the loop regarding the 2026 RFP issuance? And I put the website in there. That was my answer. I don't know if that is actually the best way.
I think that's probably the best way, but I would follow us on our social media channels and get on the listserv because it will absolutely be distributed that way. And I think one of the things that we're really trying to do, especially with our external affairs work and our partnerships, our stakeholder community, our communities, is to spread the word, right? Like our best outreach effort is each other, is this community to spread the word. So I think each of us that are connected, we need to leverage that connection and spread the word, for this opportunity. Laurel asks, would the commission consider endowing $100 million fund in perpetuity to support CBOs with CDEPs, or will the $100 million be spent? So I think that's the part of this process, Laurel, in thinking through what are the priorities we want to set? How are we defining innovation? What's coming forward to the commission for consideration, both, through our commission meetings and our committee meetings, but also through, these different public opportunities for input, both from members of the public and also even our own state agency partners. So I can't tell you, yes, we're funding $100 million, especially in perpetuity. Like that's ambitious, right? We don't have that opportunity to do that given that this is allocated to us. But I do think this is exactly the process that we want to make sure is available to the public, right? These aren't decisions that we as a commission can or should make alone. This is a partnership opportunity with members of the public, with our state agency partners, with philanthropy, to see how can we collectively together leverage this 100 million. Because if we think about it, $100 million, it's a lot of money, but with a system as huge as ours, with the need as huge as it is, we want to leverage this 100 million for more impact. So I hope that gives you a little bit of context. And I hear you loud and clear in making sure that representatives and advocates for CDEPs continue to be heard.
Thank you. That's a great question and great answer. Thanks a lot. So I'm not seeing anything else in the chat, the Q&A. I don't see any hand raised, but I'll give it one more shot. Put it out there if anybody else has a question. Yep, we got one. Thank you, Erica. Do you have the dates for the public comment and stakeholder opportunities?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I knew somebody was going to ask me that. So I'm sorry, Erica, I don't have those dates. I think the goal is to have the program advisory committee meet first and then have the stakeholder sessions. I think that was the last thing we had discussed. So I'm assuming it's going to happen this summer. I will say, just in thinking about considerations that we've had, is that summer is a really busy time for people. Summer is when people are on vacation. And is that the only time that we want to make these public opportunities available? Just recognizing people's schedules. So that's something we are considering if we host these sessions, like how many people show up and is it demonstrative of the interest? These are all questions, right? And this is why also opportunities like this are really important, because this conversation is still part of our community engagement process. It's part of our public input process, right? I then take my notes and take it back to the commission. So finding ways in which other commissioners can do these types of conversations, hold these spaces. As chair and my vice chair and the commission, we take that responsibility for community engagement seriously and want to identify those opportunities. So I don't have specific dates, but I will let you know that they will be released with at least a 10-day notice, hopefully way more, but at least a 10-day notice because of Bagley Keene. We want to make those available to folks. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. That's a great suggestion, actually. I will definitely take that back. Again, these types of opportunities to provide feedback, these concrete suggestions, I really appreciate it. I think this approach that the commission is taking, this fund, it's something new. And with that, again, we're not going to get everything perfect the first time, but you can learn and you can reflect and you can evolve as a commission in order to be more responsive and be more equitable in our approach. And these opportunities, such as different ways of engagement, is a concrete way to do just that. So I very much appreciate that.
Yes, thank you, Erica. Other suggestions or questions? Okay, seeing none. Well, I do want to, before everyone runs away, I want to make sure we put into the chat our evaluation for this meeting. Please fill it out. It's just a few questions, just quick numbers. We really appreciate you, you all for attending today. I'm gonna unspotlight you. Thank you so much for your presentation. I know that, in a time of uncertainty like we're in, we really, appreciate knowing what's on the horizon. And I think really knowing that the commission values CDEPs, that I know that really means so much to, the community that we have this project. So thank you so much for agreeing to be here and answer our questions. And we look forward to the remainder of the project. And I want to, yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity, especially in this time that is so challenging and so difficult for everybody, really. But for those of us that are particularly part of immigrant families, that um, you know, it's a real heaviness right now. And I just want to acknowledge that and thank you all for showing up every day. I told this to my team this week that um, right now just showing up is half the battle, and I just really, really appreciate that. So thank you for being in community.
Thank you very much for doing this for us.
Thank you.